All right, so go ahead and find that comfortable seated position on your mat. Like I said, if you have a block, you can grab one. If not, it's totally fine. You don't have to have it, but they're kind of nice to have around if you have one, just to kind of help make some poses a little bit more accessible. So take a few deep breaths and start to settle into your mat. All right, so in that comfortable seated position, again, just start to kind of root down with those sit bones. And we always talk about drawing tall in the spine. And one thing I want you to think about tonight is keeping the head in line with the heart. So if you imagine from the side that your ear would come in line with the shoulder, again, sometimes they say head over heart, heart over pelvis. So different ways to just start to bring some awareness of bringing the head in line with the body. So if you're sitting from the side, again, keeping that head in line with the shoulders and with the heart. Sometimes we tend to push our chin forward, our neck forward, because we spend so much time on computers, electronics, books, whatever it is. We tend to keep our head drawing forward. So just for tonight, think about kind of, again, drawing that chin back just a little bit. And maybe it is a matter of really just taking your hands to your chin, and nothing forceful, nothing crazy, but just drawing the head, again, in line with the heart. And take a few breaths there. And as you do that, of course, kind of rolling the shoulder blades down and away from the ears. Shoulders away from the ears, tucking those shoulder blades in, but it's kind of starting to draw that torso kind of in line in the body. So hopefully that's not too much to be thinking about, and you can take a few deep breaths on your mat. So keeping that alignment in mind, let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths, arms up towards the ceiling, just starting to stretch out. Reach those fingertips towards the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach. And go ahead and exhale. Allow the fingertips to draw down to the mat, taking your time. And again, go ahead and inhale, arms nice and tall. Lift, 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 lift. And on the exhale, just a gentle rotation over to one side. I'm going to go over to the right. It doesn't matter. We'll do both, but just kind of a gentle rotation over to one side. Again, staying tall in that spine. Nothing crazy yet. We're just getting warmed up, but just finding a little rotation in the body. Nice job. Just go ahead and gently unravel here. All right, go ahead and arms up. Inhaling nice and tall, and just a gentle rotation whenever you're ready over to the other side. I'm going to go over to my left side this time. Just that gentle twist as we start to kind of wake up that spine, finding that length, tall, all the way up to the crown of the head. And go ahead and gently unravel. Great job. All right, go ahead and extend the legs out in front of you for a moment. Taking a nice tall seated spine. And we'll keep kind of stretching, adding in the legs now. So go ahead and inhale, arms up. And go ahead and exhale and allow to have this seated forward fold. So maybe just for now, the hands only come to maybe just the thighs, maybe the shins, wherever they are. But just take a few breaths here in just this seated forward fold this evening. Maybe if you get to the toes, great. If not, that's okay too. So just take a few breaths here to kind of start to stretch through the back, maybe a little bit through the legs, maybe finding a little bit of a micro bend in those legs. No need to lock out those knees as we just start to warm up a little bit. So if you were with me last week, we kind of rushed through a balancing half moon. So we might spend a little bit of time on that today, if that's okay. All right, go ahead and come back to center, taking your time. And just go ahead and allow the legs to come wide. So wherever you are for tonight, again, wherever you're comfortable, maybe it's nice and wide, maybe a little bit more narrow, but Just take this nice kind of yummy wide leg stretch again, if you can, kind of nice and tall through the spine. Nice, good inhale, and then on the exhale, you can go ahead and find, again, a little bit of a forward fold here in this wide leg pose. Again, a little bit of a stretch through the low back, as well as in through the inside of the legs. And just kind of let go of any judgment. Sometimes we wish we could just, have this great flexibility, but flexibility just comes with time and practice, and some nights we just don't have it, and some nights we do. So just allow yourself to be wherever you are just for tonight. All right, and then gently go ahead and come back to center. All right, pull those legs back together and come over onto hands and knees, and we'll start to move into some flow. So making your way to hands and knees on your mat. And just take a moment here to kind of check in. Now that we've taken kind of that gravity off the spine, take a moment here to check in with the core of the body. So pulling that belly button in towards the spine and finding that length. And even here, drawing that head in line with the heart. Again, even when you're here, don't think about letting the head sink. Drawing the head in line and starting to find more of that awareness of bringing the head in line with the spine. Taking a moment here, lengthening long through that spine, and then we'll go ahead and curl the toes under and start to peel those knees off the mat and send the hips up for our first down dog. Take a few breaths here, maybe walk your dog a little bit. Beginning to find a little more warmth in the back of the legs, stretching through the shoulders in this first down dog. So again, belly button's drawn in. Fingertips are spread wide. Head is between the arms. And with one more breath, we'll go ahead and begin our vinyasa flow. Go ahead and begin to shift forward. And for our first flow for tonight, go ahead and lower all the way down to the mat. Again, just kind of really creating a little bit more warmth in the body as we start to stretch out. And go ahead and inhale to cobra. So hands on the mat, rooted down into the mat, and we inhale, drawing that little bit of a line with the nose as we lift the crown of the head. Find that openness into the heart. And go ahead and release. And curl those toes under and hands under the shoulders. So wherever you'd like to kind of come back up to hands and knees first. And then send the hips up, whatever works best for you, but we'll all meet back together in down dog. Taking a breath here. All right, go ahead and walk those feet towards the hands. Finding our forward fold, root down through those feet. So we did a little bit of a forward fold in our sitting position. Here we are in standing. Take a breath here. And again, as always, we talked a little bit about having a block. If you have a block here, you can certainly do that if you'd like. If not, it's not necessary. So, taking a breath, rooting down through the feet, and really releasing through the head and neck. So, we take gravity out of the equation, and we can find some release into some of the tension that we find in the neck and the shoulders. Take a breath here. And then go ahead and inhale to flat back, nice and strong again. Head in line with the spine. And go ahead and exhale, fold. And then root to rise. We'll come all the way to standing, root down. Nice big movement. Inhale the arms all the way up, 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 up. Maybe find a little bit of a mini back bend. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment in the standing pose. Shake it out. Find that strength as we draw the body tall and long. All right, let's go ahead and keep flowing. All right, inhale, arms up nice and tall. Exhale, go ahead and fold. Inhale to flat back. And then exhale, hands on the mat, step back to your down dog. Great job. Let's go ahead and flow again, and you can certainly do the vinyasa flow that we did to start, but if you're ready, you can go ahead and begin to shift forward. So you can lower all the way down to the mat, or maybe just halfway this time. And then inhale to your up dog or that cobra pose. And then come all the way back to down dog, and we come back together. Great job. All right, let's go ahead and start right into our our warrior flow. So find that right foot in between the hands. Go ahead and pivot on the back foot to find your warrior feet. And we root down nice and strong. And then we're going to take a big movement all the way to that warrior two. So inhale the torso all the way up, open up to our warrior two. Belly buttons in, heads in line with the spine. And as always, kind of check in. Can we still see that big toe? Are we drawing out into the midline of the body? And we find a little bit of a nice stretch on the inside of that left leg. Nice breath here. All right, we're going to move into triangle. So begin to draw some this right leg straight, not locking out the knee, but finding that little micro bend in the knee. And we begin to stretch forward. And then we tick-tock those arms and find triangle pose. Here again, if you happen to have a block, you can use that. If not, totally fine. Nice strong triangle pose. Really keeping the arms spread long. Left arms up, right arms down. And again, finding that length in the spine. Take another breath here. And then go ahead and cartwheel those hands down to the mat. And from here, we're going to go ahead and draw the left foot to meet the right and find that forward fold. So we're going straight over to that forward fold here in this pose. All right, so a little bit of balancing. So we're right here in this forward fold. We're going to start to explore a little bit of some balancing half moon. So take a moment here to feel nice and strong in our rooted feet. So I'm going to step that left foot back just about what would be a normal step for you. So I'm going to begin to step the left foot back. And we did this last week as well. So this is kind of that pyramid pose where we find this nice stretch in our legs. Hands maybe are down to the mat. This is, again, if we're not quite reaching, you can use a block, maybe use a chair. So use whatever props you need to start to find some access for these balance poses. All right, so I'm going to begin to root down through this right foot. And all we're going to do is begin to kind of shift our weight forward so that I'm becoming lighter on this back left foot. Hands are on the mat. And we can just begin to draw this left foot up off the mat. And maybe we just stay here. And maybe that's okay. And again, if you have a chair nearby, you can use that as well. A wall. If you're at home and you have the luxury of maybe a wall or a chair nearby, that's great too. So we can start just here in our balancing pose where the right foot is rooted down and the left foot is back and our belly button's drawn in. And we can begin to open to our left side. So maybe the left hand just comes to the left hip. Right hand stays down. And maybe that's enough. And if you start to fall out, you can go ahead and come out. If it's starting to be too much, go ahead and come out and then join back with us. Belly button's in again, long through that spine. And maybe the left arm comes to reach up towards the ceiling, kind of like in our triangle pose. Balancing half moon. Take a breath here. And then go ahead and come back to center. Allow the left foot to meet the right and find that forward fold. Ooh, take a breath. Nice job. So I want to just give you some options with some balancing. We'll revisit on the other side, but just take a moment here. Forward fold, take a breath. All right, hands to the mat. Go ahead and step back to your down dog. All right, let's go ahead and flow again. Shift forward into plank. Lower down, chaturanga. To up dog. And to down dog. All right, this time the left foot is going to come in between the hands. And go ahead and pivot on the back foot. We start to find our warrior feet. I'm going to flip around just so I don't have my back to you. So, all right, so left foot's forward, right foot's back. We're in our warrior feet, rooting down. And then we'll go ahead and inhale all the way to that warrior two. Right arm to the back, left arm forward. Good job. Take a breath here. Always check in, readjust if you need. And let's go ahead and begin to find that triangle pose. So we begin to straighten out that front left knee, not locking it out. Begin to reach forward, and then tick-tock the arms and we find triangle. Breathe. So as with triangle, it's kind of similar to that balancing half moon. We're finding that length through the spine, and the arms are long. Belly button's in. All right, go ahead and cartwheel the hands to the mat, and we'll come bringing the right foot to meet the left into that forward fold. Okay, so here we're gonna work into our balancing half moon on this side. So start by taking a little mini step back with the right foot. Take a nice breath. And find that stretch through the front left leg. Breathe here. Okay, so we begin to shift forward so that the weight comes off of this back right foot. And begin to draw the right foot up. And like I said, maybe this is enough. Or maybe even just allowing the toes to balance here on the mat. And maybe that's even enough. So you find what's going to work best for you for tonight. Breathing here. And like I said, if you fall out, just come back together. So we can start here. Belly buttons in, finding strength in that rooted down left leg. And then we begin to kind of open the hips where maybe the right hand comes to the right hip. Take a breath here. And again, maybe this is enough. But we kind of start really opening to the side. We start to kind of open up the heart. open up the hips. And maybe we can extend the right arm up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. And again, if you fall out, come back. If you have, again, if you have a wall or a chair or something nearby, that's great. And then as you're ready, you can go ahead and bring the right foot to meet the left and take a breath in that forward fold. Nice job. All right, I'm gonna flip around again, not to confuse you. Okay, go ahead and step back to your down dog. Take a moment here. Go ahead and allow the knees to come to the mat and send the hips to the heels. Find a moment for child's pose. Maybe a little bit of a restorative child's pose just for a moment where we allow the hands to come to the heels. And we just find the breath and refocus for a moment. Great job. Okay, go ahead and come back to hands and knees. And go ahead and send the hips back up to that down dog. Peel the knees up. Send them up, down dog. Great job. Take a breath. All right, we're going to do that again. A little bit of a warrior flow and allow you to try and get back into half moon again. So go ahead and send the right foot in between the hands. Pivot on the back foot. Start to find those warrior feet. Root down nice and strong. And then go ahead and inhale all the way to warrior two. Breathe. Great, we'll begin to find reverse warrior. So scoop up with that right hand, scoop up towards the ceiling. Allow the left to just maybe rest on this back leg or maybe behind the back. Reverse warrior, finding a nice length through this right side body. Belly button still in. All right, and then go ahead and cartwheel those hands all the way down to the mat. Bring the left foot to meet the right again, forward fold. All right, so that little mini kind of step back with the left foot. We start to find our pigeon pose with our feet. Release, rooting down through that right foot nice and strong. Take a breath. All right, go ahead and begin to shift weight forward. And we become light on that back left foot. And like I said, maybe this is enough. Maybe just allowing the toe to rest here on the mat is enough. So you do what's going to work best for you. You know your body better. You know where you are tonight. Maybe you've just had a day that is just not happening, and that's okay too. But as we're here, we start to kind of open up this side to the side. So we start to open up to this left side. Like I said, if you fall out, go ahead and come back. And maybe the hand just comes to the hip. Or maybe extending long. Wherever you are. Taking a breath. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and come back to that forward fold. Great job. All right, hands on the mat, step back to your down dog. And we'll vinyasa flow. Go ahead and shift forward. Lower down halfway to your up dog. And back to your down dog. Right, left foot comes forward this time. In between the hands. Pivot on the back foot. We find our warrior feet. And then as you're ready, go ahead. Inhale all the way up to that warrior two. And left arms forward, right arms back. Checking on that pinky toe or that big toe. Shoulder blades are in their pockets. All right, reverse warrior. So scoop up with that left hand, scoop up towards the ceiling. Find this nice stretch through the left side. Reverse warrior. Breathe here. Again, right hand can just be behind your leg, maybe behind your back, wherever you'd like. All right, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Bring the right foot to meet the left. Forward fold. All right, here comes our balancing half moon. So step back on the right foot. We find that pyramid pose first. This isn't the only way you can get into your balancing half moon. I just sometimes feel like it's easy when we just need to shift our weight versus completely come into it from another angle. So as you're ready, we go ahead and shift that weight into the down left foot. And the right foot just naturally begins to kind of become lighter. So again, maybe this is enough. Or maybe we find the right foot all the way out on the mat, perpendicular with the mat maybe. And again, we start to kind of open to the side. So we start to bring the right hand to the right hip. And maybe begin to open to the side body. And maybe extending the right arm up. And again, if none of this is working for you, you can totally skip it. It's just beginning to challenge some of our balance. One more breath. And then whenever you are, go ahead and allow the right foot to meet the left, forward fold. Great job. All right, inhale, flat back. Take a breath here. Find that head in line with the spine. Exhale, fold. And as you're ready, go ahead and inhale all the way up. Reach, 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 reach up towards the ceiling. And exhale, hands to heart center. Great job. Take a breath here. All right, inhale, arms up. Exhale, go ahead and fold. Hands to the mat. And we're going to keep making our way all the way down to the mat. So go ahead and find yourself sitting on your mat. Take a moment to go ahead and roll all the way back onto your back, knees into the chest. Take a moment here, maybe a little rock on your mat to massage the spine as we're laying back on the mat, knees into the chest. Take a moment here. And just a little bit of a figure four. So allow the left foot to come down to the mat. Right ankle crosses over on the left knee. So figure four, kind of like crossing, crossing your legs a little bit. And then draw the left knee in to the body. So a little bit of a figure four stretch here into the outside of the right hip. Taking a moment here. As we feel a little bit of an opening into the outer right hip, a little bit of a stretch into the left as well. And go ahead and release. Uncross the legs, go ahead and draw both knees into the chest one more time. And we'll just go ahead and switch. The right foot comes down to the mat. This time the left ankle crosses over onto the right knee. And we draw the right knee into the body this time. We'll figure four stretch. Again, you should feel a stretch on the outside of the right hip. I'm sorry, the left hip this time. Finding that stretch. Taking a breath here. And then go ahead and release. at this point you can uncross your legs. At this point you can go into a full supine Shavasana if you would like. I'm going to come up to sitting on my mat to close out, but you are welcome to stay in a supine position if you'd like. So wherever you are, just take another full, complete breath, inhalation and exhalation. And we take a moment to just find gratitude that we are able to come together and spend time on our mat. This change in seasons and the change in weather can just kind of remind us that we are coming into a new season, and it reminds us to just take a moment and embrace the moment that we're in. In a day like we've had today where it's been sunny and it's been snowy and it's been warm and it's been cold, we realize how quickly things change, and so we try and find those moments to just look around and notice what's going on in the world around us, in the seasons, and the changes ahead. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening.